All right, hello everyone. In this short video, I'm going to be introducing and describing the commemorative speech assignment, which is actually going to be our final speech assignment of the entire semester. Believe it or not, we finally made it here. We're at the end. The end is in sight, and hopefully it's not too much of a daunting kind of last sprint at the end of this semester. So while the policy speech, being at 250 points, was the largest assignment and largest point value of the entire semester, we're going to kind of ease things off a little bit, and on a hopefully a slightly simpler note with the commemorative speech. So hopefully, I know you probably have a ton going on at this point in the year, but hopefully this final thing will kind of wrap up a good culmination of everything we've worked on this semester, but without being, too stressful on top of everything else that you have going on. So very quickly, just a couple of some of the skills that we're trying to emphasize through the commemorative speech. Obviously, commemoration. You want to be able to talk about something and tell us why that person, object, or institution is so important to you. Additionally, you're still trying to make a clear argument of why whatever you're talking about is so important and why it matters so much to you. Also, we're going to be talking about decorum. So how do we, through our words, create a certain mood in the room and establish kind of the appropriate overall feel and kind of feeling and emotion in our speech itself. We're also going to be thinking a lot about language, so how can we use our words to contribute to that decorum? How can we contribute to that overall commemoration through our words itself? And then finally, this is kind of, as always, we're going to have delivery on this list, but delivery is one of those big skills that kind of wraps everything together. I think the commemorative speech is a really important assignment. One, it's worth points, but really this is the type of speech that realistically you're probably going to be giving most often once you're beyond college, outside of work. So think about giving a toast at a friend's wedding, or a bridesmaid speech, or maybe you're talking at a friend's graduation or something like that. These types of speeches happen a lot more frequently than, say, a public deliberation speech or these other speeches which might be more specific to only a work or school setting. So hopefully this speech assignment is, one, a good way to wrap up the semester, but two, a really useful thing to kind of just have in your toolkit as you go out into the real world and use your public speaking skills to interact with others. So some of the basics of what we're going to be doing in this assignment here. In the commemorative speech, obviously you will be commemorating. What that subject of that commemoration is, though, can be pretty wide and varied. So you're going to choose a person, a place, an object, an organization, an institution, some sort of a subject that is praiseworthy. And then in your speech, you're going to pay tribute to that subject. So you want to pick a topic or pick something that you feel really passionately about and you want to commemorate and tell us why it's so awesome. And then you're going to pick a couple of virtues of that subject. And in your speech, you're going to highlight those virtues, amplify them for us. Tell us why your grandmother is so honest and caring. Tell us why this organization is so strong and empowering to you, whatever that case is. In your speech, you're going to pick a handful of stylistic devices, use those stylistic devices in your writing to pay tribute to that person and kind of amplify that commemoration even more. One thing I will say, please pick a topic that is actually genuinely praiseworthy for a broad and general audience. So, for instance, if you wanted to give a speech about the virtues of binge drinking culture, not really appropriate for this topic. We'll get into that later. If there are any questions, I'm happy to chat one-on-one about those, but generally pick an actual subject that's going to be praiseworthy and that we can all be on board with. For the delivery of the speech itself, it's going to be a manuscript delivery rather than that extemporaneous speaking that we've done the entire year. So what that means is you're going to have your entire speech written out word for word on that manuscript, and you're going to be reading from it. And so that's going to make the delivery a little challenging because you're going to need to balance looking at the document in front of you and then also looking into the camera and making sure you're connecting with the audience. We'll talk a lot about that. In many ways, this makes the speech both easier, but also challenging in other ways. Even though it's going to be a written manuscript, we still want to emphasize that oral style, so it wants to sound like something that you're speaking and not feel like this overly mechanical typed out text. So you don't want to just write your speech, crank it out, and then record it, call it good to go. You want to really think about how is this going to sound and is it creating the mood that I want for my commemorative speech. So again, it should sound spontaneous even though you are delivering it from that manuscript. And And while you're doing that, you also want to think about all those same delivery techniques that we've done this entire year. So this speech is really where everything's going to kind of come together into this one final assignment. And as you're thinking about writing this entire speech, it should be hitting 4 to 5 minutes. You'll notice that's kind of a more narrow time frame. The reason for that being, since you have that written out manuscript, there really shouldn't be that much variation in how long your speech delivery is. And again, since we're recording our speeches, if there's really anything outside of 4 to 5 minutes, there's really no excuse for that, since you can always just go back and re-record or re-edit it so it fits within there. Couple of broad dates and deadlines for you. First things first, your topic proposal is going to be due on April 24th. That's either using the template from the textbook or the one that's been uploaded on Canvas. Just like always, you're going to propose 2 possible topics, and on the proposal, you're going to tell me who is the person, what is the institution, what is the place, or whatever it is that you're commemorating, and what are some of the virtues that you're hoping to commemorate. This will help me give you some good feedback on how best to talk about those virtues or how best to talk about that subject overall. Once you do your topic proposal, I'll give you your feedback so you can incorporate that into your speech, and then you'll have until May 8th to write your manuscript and upload that to Canvas, and then also until May 8th to record a video of your speech and then upload that as well. Just like always, you're going to have a discussion post on Canvas where you post that, so that way everyone is able to see your speech and we kind of simulate having that audience there. So as you're thinking about this speech, one, obviously make sure you're hitting those speech requirements, but like I said, the commemorative speech is really one of those assignments that, or one of those speaking genres that you can really use in so many areas of the real world. So really think about, what do you want to speak about, rather than kind of trying to pick a topic that is going to fit some of these more criteria, more minute criteria, that is. So really think about how you can make this personal to you, while also kind of building and putting together everything that we've done this entire year. As always, I am more than happy to chat one-on-one with you, talk about questions, comments, concerns, anything that I can do to help you put together this really effective speech for the end of the year. All right, take care.